Hey, everybody, it's me, Stephanie Nietzsche, and today on Writer Talk, I have author Christina Testut. Hi, Christina.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
So I'm so happy to have you on because I know I have said this before online, but I saw you at the library
Yeah.
talking about your book, and the title of your book is
Embrace your features.
Embrace Your Features.
Yeah.
And the title alone got me, but when you started discussing the book, I was so interested. I even walked over to you, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I just love the message you send in your book. So this is a children's book for ages, what ages would you say?
I would say if you read to it from any age, read to the child from any age from like 4 and up, and then children who could actually read it would be more like a second, third grade level.
Right. And I
Yes.
even feel like adults benefit
My
from,
whole purpose when I wrote it was I wanted it to be a book that not just children would benefit, but the adult that reads it to them would also get the message as well.
right. It's a really good conversation starter as well, because sometimes I feel like we have these we're self-conscious about things and maybe we're too embarrassed to share them with people, even if it's our mom or a grandmother or a best friend.
Yeah.
We feel embarrassed to talk about it, and I think it's really good because that can bring out a conversation between a child and their parent, or
Mhm.
like I said, their grandparent, or someone
Yeah.
that's close to them, maybe reading the story, or even another friend, because I
Mhm.
think we pay too much attention, there's too much focus on what we look like. But now, getting back to you as an author, when did this idea first pop into your head?
Yeah, so I had always I had always I always liked writing when I was a kid. I used to write like fictional stories. I would draw the pictures for it, but I never thought I wanted to become an author. I only realized that I wanted to write this book when I knew this message was so important to me. And I thought, what other way to get the message out into the world than to be an author of a children's book with this message? So I never planned on becoming an author, but my passion for getting this message out into the world was just so intense and strong, and this was the way that I thought I could do it.
Okay.
Um, so around 2020, when everything was Google Meets and Zooms, and teaching had gone in that direction, I was home teaching on the computer, and I was also watching my own children get their lessons on the computer. And I noticed a pattern. I noticed that anytime I went on a meeting with other teachers or with parents, um, or when my kids were on a meeting with their own teachers, I noticed that everybody would apologize for how they looked. And they would say things like, "Oh, I can't put my camera on today. I look horrible," or "Don't mind my gray hair," or "I didn't get my eyebrows done," or "I'm not wearing any makeup and I look terrible. I'm a hot mess." And my children one day said to me, "Why does she say that to me? Say that on the screen every time she comes on?" It was about one of their teachers. And I was, I didn't know I didn't have the words for it back then. I was just like, "Oh, I don't know. Some people are just, insecure, self-conscious or whatever." And I wasn't even at the place where I am, secure enough to go on a screen like I am today without any makeup on. I wasn't at that point then. So I thought, we're here calling all these things, something like we're apologizing for all these things. We're
Right,
saying
right,
sorry for our appearance. And what are our children thinking when they hear us constantly say we're sorry for what we look like? And I
right.
heard embrace your flaws constantly. I always heard that, growing up on social media. And it started me thinking more and more and reflecting, like, what are we calling flaws? And I began
Right.
to look up in the dictionary, like, what's the definition of flaws compared to the definition of features? And what I saw was flaws is so much more negative. We're calling these things defects, imperfections,
Right, right.
something that mars you. That was one of the terms in the dictionary, something that mars you. And when you look at features, it's characteristics, traits. It's just so much more of a positive, but also almost like a neutral term as well. Like it's just a characteristic. It's not something that's awful like flaws
Right.
implicates. So I said, I want to try to change the narrative around this. And I would post and post about embracing our features. I posted on my Instagram about the difference between the meanings of the words. And I would constantly, try to post and use that hashtag, but it wasn't going anywhere. Like I wasn't getting, it wasn't my impact. The impact I wanted to make wasn't happening. And that's when I was
Right.
like, you know what? I think that if I can make this into a children's book, then maybe my message would, have more impact. And so
Right.
that was, I started writing it in 2022 and the book came alive in 2023. I mean, and I say started writing it, most of it comes from all my Instagram posts that I posted about all that time. Like
Oh,
I
wow.
yeah, I took things from those posts and I, tried to turn it into a children's book.
I think that was a great idea.
Yeah.
And everything you say is so true because everything is focused on appearance. I
Yeah.
mean, to the point where people are having, procedures
Yeah.
and plastic surgery. And then when does that stop?
Yeah.
Because those procedures, they just, I mean, you can't defy, for now, I'm just going to talk about aging, but you
Yeah.
can't defy time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
even when you get procedures, which everybody is not a good candidate
Right.
for, because sometimes the results are disastrous.
Right.
But over time, those procedures, the face starts to fall, things get lopsided, maybe
Yeah.
things go back to the way they were that we weren't happy with. But
Right.
we do, like you said, when your children were going, having the at home schooling on the
Yeah.
laptop,
Yeah.
and the teacher didn't want to show her face,
Yeah.
that's the message she's sending. Like, in other words, I'm not presentable enough to speak to these children. And it's children, it's not even adults, it's
Right.
children,
Yeah.
where children usually are not so critical of
Right.
their teachers. Maybe they're critical of themselves, but
Yeah.
usually their teacher, they look up to them, they respect them. They're not going to talk about their appearance,
Mhm.
usually, unless there's some reason for it. But um, yeah, we as adults put this on our children.
Yeah. It's our society. I mean, I don't judge or shame anybody who wants the procedures or who feels, that they're not good enough or look good enough to turn the camera on. But I feel like if one of us uses our voice, then it's like a ripple effect. I feel
Right,
my hope is like my book is like a ripple effect. So if it doesn't help someone see something at that moment, but maybe their child realizes it, and maybe then by that their child realizing it, that child brings the message to school with their friends as they grow up, or tells it
right.
to somebody else in their family, right? So we can't escape it. It's like it's everywhere.
No,
We all
yeah.
learned it, no matter what our age is. My mom, my grandparents, everybody has learned these messages from a young age.
From early, yeah, it's so true. And listen, don't get me wrong. I'm anybody who wants, to do something to make themselves feel better or think they look better by it. I don't judge them
Yeah,
either. I feel if
yeah,
that's what you want to do, you got to
yes,
do what makes you happy. But
yeah,
my point is that industry, I wish I would have looked it up before we talked, but that industry is booming. I
yeah.
mean, that's all I see is ads for
Oh,
fix
yeah.
this, fix
It's
that,
it's a
unhappy with
money maker.
this,
That's
unhappy with that.
100%. It's
And
all about making money. That's
yeah, and
yeah,
then it makes people look in the mirror and go, "Well,
yeah.
maybe this bump on my nose,
Uh-huh.
should get fixed. Oh,
Yes,
maybe my ears are a little too big. Maybe I could get this earlobe." I mean, stuff that means
yes,
nothing. I mean, I could see if somebody maybe was born with something, and like sometimes, well, sometimes we have things that
sure.
can be corrected,
Right, like a cleft
like a cleft, yeah,
lip.
cleft palate.
Yeah,
I'm totally all for that. I mean, that's important. When you look in the mirror, you do want to see what you want to see.
right.
But the industry is just so big, and when we see these ads, they make us realize, or they make us pick out things about ourselves that we're not happy with, and
Right.
it's
Or
bad.
that we never even I think sometimes
You
what
know,
we didn't realize we weren't happy with it, that, we were fine with it, we were neutral about it, and then somebody says something and makes us go, "Oh, is that true about me?" Like, I have an example, I
yes.
was in high school and, another student commented that I had a lisp, and I had no clue that I
Oh,
had a lisp, and I remember, like, obsessing over it for such a long time that, oh my God, I have a lisp. I would ask 1,000 people, I have a lisp. Nobody ever told me I had a lisp. I didn't even realize I had a lisp. And I would be self-conscious about talking for a long time. I mean, now I don't even think about it. And, that's
Right.
like one of the reasons why I put that's one of the things I put in the book as well. I tried to put other features that are just not features that you look at, but features that you hear. So I mentioned speech impediments and accents, and um, but um, that was my example of sometimes you don't even realize there's an issue.
Yeah,
Too
you don't
funny.
realize that you have something that maybe is, yeah.
That's right.
So it's funny though how the mentioning of that all of a sudden brought it, like it made you self-conscious.
Right.
It made you
To
aware of
talk.
something that
Yeah.
you weren't even aware of. Yeah, that's got to be hard. So a lot of this at times would you say maybe not even comes from us. It comes from what we hear from other people.
Oh yeah, none of us are born with not liking what we look like. None of us, realize any of these things until we get the message from TV, commercials, books, or other people, watching them um, judge their own bodies or say something negative about their appearance, and then we start to question our own, and or seeing something, like an ad like you mentioned before, or like what happened to me with that one person saying something about how I spoke. So I don't think we're born with it at all. Like we learn these things over time.
Right, right.
That's why I'm
So
hoping my book is like that, that one thing that maybe could help. I'm not naive to think that I could like change the world with my book, but I do believe that it could be one of those, resources that can help spark a conversation and, help people see things differently, not only for themselves, but for the child that they're reading the book to or with.
right.
Yeah.
Those are such good points. And it helps. Like sometimes I do say to myself, ever since I met you and I knew what your book was about, like sometimes when I'm getting ready, I don't know, even just to run to the store and then I look in the mirror and I go, well, I'm not doing, and I'm like, you know what, this is me.
Yeah.
I'm going to the supermarket. My
Hmm.
hair's not perfect.
Right.
And this is it. This is just the way
Yeah.
I'm going to go out. Because
Yeah.
that's another thing. Sometimes we spend so much time, we spend money, but we spend time
Yeah.
on getting things a certain way, making sure, you know what I mean? Like I have makeup on now, and I'm so like everything is so light, my hair and everything, that I still feel like a little invisible to the camera. I feel like I blend in too much with the
Mhm.
camera, but that's why I apply the makeup for
Yeah.
the camera. But
Yeah.
it's great to just be able to say, hey, this is me.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Because really what matters, like your messages, is what's on the inside,
Right.
because you on the inside makes you the person you are. And that's really right
Yeah.
what we can control.
Yeah.
Because even though we're born with our features and
Right.
our, I guess our personalities over
Right.
time, they start to, grow and develop, but we are in control of that part, how we are to other
Yeah.
people, the kindness,
Right.
right? The good things that we do. And you do hear that message sometimes, like, beauty is on the inside, or, be kind today. You don't know what somebody's going through. But I don't think that message is as heard as the message about, oh, your hair is this color, or your eyes don't match, or I
Right.
feel like that message is so much more out there
Yeah.
in the
No,
world.
definitely. I feel like also certain people um get the backlash for their appearance more than other people. Like I think people who are in larger bodies get discriminated and um forced, or the pressure to change more than somebody who might be in a straight size body or a smaller body. And so I think sometimes the message beauty is from the inside. Everybody uses it when it's a person that is an average weight, or their appearance is, and doesn't have anything unique about them. But then once it's somebody that looks unique, maybe because they have a birthmark on their face, or they're in a larger body, or whatever the case may be, then people really don't use that saying anymore. It's like, no, you have to fix yourself, you have to change yourself.
Yeah, everything is just like makes us self-conscious and
Mhm.
so aware of things that are not important,
Right.
right?
That, and like you said, that was one of the messages that I really wanted to make sure was clear in my book as well, is that we're talking about our features, and I want us to accept and embrace our features, but I also want children and their adults to know that what we look like is the least interesting thing about us. That's
Right,
most important. What matters most, and this is a quote from the book, is how we treat people. What matters most is what's in the inside. And that kindness, compassion, and empathy is what makes us truly glow, not, what we actually look like.
right. And looks fade, right? That's something you don't have that forever.
Right,
But your character and your
right,
kindness and your heart,
right.
that's really what goes on forever,
Right. And
right?
those are the things that we should work on, right? Like
Yes, yes.
every year when it's like January and it's new year, new me, everybody focuses on usually the physical. Like, how do I get more fit? How do I,
Yes.
decrease my size in some way? But many people should be thinking more about how they are treating people and how
Yes.
they can work on their character, their how they can work on their personality, not to be, less bully, less bullies, and more
Oh God,
kinder.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bully thing it's very upsetting.
Yes. Yeah.
So that is for sure. But
Yes.
I love your take on the new year.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on losing weight or
Yes.
getting trimmer, more
Right.
muscles and stuff like that, work on yourself and your
Right.
kindness.
Yeah.
What did I instead of what somebody did for me today, what can
Yeah.
I do for somebody else? Somebody that actually really needs some help
Mhm.
or a hand, or don't be snotty to the wait staff,
Right.
or
Right.
right?
Right.
Because there's so many situations like that. Like people go to work and then they're not treated kindly. Like let's say customers or their
Yeah.
boss or
Right.
their coworkers. It's like
Yeah.
a bad environment. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, people really should be working on that.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
And
Just
people don't,
yeah. That's they put
right?
more right. They put more time, money, energy into changing or fixing their bodies or their appearance than
Yeah,
the things that truly matter more,
yeah,
like what are we doing for other people? How are we making other people feel, right? And I know for myself, I spent years doing all that. I spent years at every single, January. It was how I'm going to make myself look better, or even be better in a fitness kind of way. And I just now for years, I'm just going to be me, just it's
right.
the same me, but also with more grace for myself. Because when we're talking about kindness, we don't put sometimes ourselves into that. Also, we're not kind to ourselves, and so
Yeah,
being more kind to yourself, giving yourself more grace, and um just treating yourself with the same kindness you treat your loved one.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're not kind enough to ourselves.
Right.
When we bring all these things into the mix and we focus our minds on that, what we could, I don't know, how we could look better or how we
Yeah.
could, improve our appearance,
Yeah.
it's such a time waster.
Well,
We could really be putting our energy
yeah.
towards something else, right?
I've wasted so much time. Like I made it like my identity to become smaller. And in my past, I mean, that's where I've come to now, this embracing your features. Writing this book was not just for everybody else, too. It was for myself. Like getting those words down on paper and having it say by Christina Testut, knowing what all I went through in my own journey and story to become different physically. This was like healing for me, it was like
Right.
changing the narrative that played and replayed in my mind all those years that I wasn't good enough the way I was, and then I need to always be fixing myself or always, chasing this good enough title when I was good enough exactly the way I was, but I didn't even realize it.
Exactly. Like, what's wrong with us? Like,
Right.
why are we not good enough?
Right.
And even though people aren't nice and they're not
Right.
kind and people do like insult, and sometimes I gotta say it, it's bad enough that we hear things from men,
Right.
negative comments from men. But when women
Yep.
do it to other women, I mean, I see it online all the
Yeah.
time. And there's
100%.
somebody online that shares these, like she puts like a celebrity or someone that's public on social media. It
Mhm.
doesn't even have to be a celebrity, but somebody who has a page, and maybe they're talking about anything fitness or food, and
Right.
the comments that the other women are
Yeah.
saying about the other women, and it like blows my mind. How, first of all, women bashing other women is disgusting because
Yeah.
women don't like when they get bashed themselves. So
No.
why in the world would you do that to somebody
Yeah.
else, whether it's a woman, a man, a child, anybody?
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? Where
Yeah.
does that even come from?
Yeah.
And don't you know how, if that, like, that affects other people when they hear things about themselves? So why would they want to spread that toxicity?
I know. Yeah.
And
That's a big issue. I always say that they're projecting on the other people. Like they don't feel good inside. They're not giving themselves that kindness. Somewhere, down the line, somebody was not nice to them. They never healed
right,
from it. And they're just projecting all of that on everybody else, which is not okay. And social media really has opened up the world just to comment on everybody's business and everybody's appearance,
yeah,
all the time. I just scroll. I just scroll on by if I don't like what somebody says or I don't agree with it, I just try to scroll on by and not say something bad, something negative.
right.
But
But you could be having a really good day, and then all of a sudden, right, you read something maybe on social media. Oh, not you personally, but I just mean in general. Like, oh
sure.
my God, I can't believe like somebody
Yeah,
could post a picture of themselves and feel
yeah,
fabulous,
yeah,
think they look great, and then post it. And then somebody will say, "Oh, what was she thinking?" Or,
yeah,
"Oh, that dress doesn't flatter her," or she
yeah,
should be wearing something, a larger
yeah,
size, or
yeah,
that really ruins somebody's day. I
yeah,
really wish there was a way. I mean, I'm so glad you wrote this book, and I do think about it. You know how I feel about your book because I tell you all the time. Because as a woman, we all, or as a person in general, because men have these things too. I just
yes,
feel like they're not, they don't want to talk about it.
yeah,
Like us women, we talk about things. We like to talk about sometimes, if we're
yeah.
upset, what bothers us or
They
whatever.
don't
Men,
they don't get held to the same standards as us. Like,
they
you know,
don't,
they
right?
go gray, everybody's like, "Oh, a silver fox," right? But then
Right.
when we go gray, it's like, "Oh my god, you should dye your hair, that
Oh
looks
my
horrible," right? You know, they like
God,
to
the
say
perfect
dad bod.
example.
They call dad bods in a nice,
Right.
affectionate, cute way. "Oh, he's got a dad bod." But us, it's like, God forbid, we, show our stomachs in a two-piece at the beach and it's not a flat stomach, then
Right?
we hear
And
all
you're
these
telling us to cover up. Meanwhile,
exactly.
a good majority of women have had children. You know
Right,
what I mean? So sometimes there's reasons why women have, like,
right,
bellies.
right.
But yeah, men now, like, it's really, really funny that you bring that up because
Yeah,
dad bods are like, they're pushing that towards sexy now.
yeah,
So it's okay. Like it used to be muscles, right? Like that used to be the thing.
right,
Guys wanted
yeah,
muscles and they
yeah,
were working out in the gym
right,
or had gym equipment in their
yeah,
house. But now a man that doesn't waste his time doing that because maybe he's working for his family or
yeah,
he's enjoying his life and he's
right,
enjoying food and he's traveling and he doesn't go to the gym, his body's embraced.
yeah,
But ours as women and a lot of us working moms, delivered children. Our body's been through hell and back for
yeah,
various different reasons,
yeah,
menopause,
yeah,
puberty, all kinds of things.
yeah,
We're persecuted and attacked
yeah,
or just for life happening to us.
exactly,
That's
100%.
crazy.
And then when
How
life
can-
happens, they always expect us to bounce back. So, like, after you
Yeah,
have a baby, it's like, "Oh, did you bounce back? Are you wearing the same size?" And then when it's menopause, it was like, "Don't get the meno belly," which I just read recently that was totally made up. There's no such thing as a meno belly. Like, so,
wow.
it's like all these things that and the age defying, right? There's no, like, not men getting rarely, maybe men and celebrities in Hollywood are getting Botox, but rarely men, the average working man is going to get, injections or,
Right?
yeah,
Even a facial.
right,
Maybe they'll go once to try it just to
right,
see what it's like. Well, their wife wants like they go and do like a couples thing. You
right,
go away and you're like, you know what? You get a facial. I'll get a we'll get a couples facial, a couples
yeah,
massage, because everybody should be pampered. I feel
of
like it's
course,
really
yeah,
good. It's good for the body too,
yeah, of
like
course,
to move parts of your
yes,
body that never get moved for whatever
yes,
reason. But that is so true. Men do not waste their time on facials or cosmetic
yeah,
procedures. I mean, like you said, yes, sometimes celebrities, or sometimes if things really, really bother someone, or
yeah,
it gets in the way of life,
yeah,
like maybe like droopy eyelids,
yeah,
which I have.
yeah,
But sometimes those get heavy and you can't
yeah.
see.
Yeah, no, of
So
course.
those are
If
like,
things are bothering us for whatever reason, like, I'm sure if people need to feel better, yeah, or it's just like, is it controlling us? That's what I always like ask myself, because that's what happened to me. It controlled me so much that I was obsessed with it so much that I, couldn't like do my usual life things without
Exactly. Yeah.
sticking to the certain, diet, or, without, having my hair or my makeup done a certain way. Like, all these things affecting your life, like if it's
Right.
affecting your life, that you don't want anybody to look at you. And it almost came to that point for me where, I just didn't want to be seen, and so I think that's the issue, when it happens so much, and it affects you so much that it's affecting your quality of life, your mental health. Like, our mental health is way more important than what size jeans we wear.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
And it stops us from enjoying life,
Yeah.
right? Like you said, it's taking up too much time. It's making us unhappy. And I know for me personally, so when I was a child, I had a weight problem.
Mm.
Now, I don't care how much, I don't care what my numbers say on the scale. I will always feel like a person with a weight problem
Right.
because I have it since childhood. So I have a tendency to, my legs maybe are a little heavy.
Yeah.
So one time I had shorts on and somebody made a comment like, wow, you just thought like, because usually like if you're covered up, people can't see certain
Right.
things. But then when you do expose certain things, like you wear a pair of shorts, people maybe see your thighs and then they're like, wow, like they like sometimes the clothes, they hide your body, but
Right.
then when you expose it and other people see it, they're like, wow, I didn't know your legs were that big.
Yeah.
So I had and always will have for the rest of my life, not only about weight, because I was an overweight child, but my felt like my legs will always be a thing for me.
Yeah.
So I don't wear shorts.
Yeah.
So I like to play pickleball and they have these cute, and I even bought a few, a waste of money, but they're skirts. I guess they call them skirts.
Yeah. With shorts
They're
underneath.
short, yeah. And when you play in the summer, or even when you play a sport, it gets hot.
Yeah.
So if you don't have to wear pants and you could wear shorts, that's great because then at least you have some more cooling on your skin.
Yeah.
So I went to Marshalls and I guess I bought like 3 pairs, and that was like, I don't know, 3, 4 years ago. I never wore them because I'll risk, like I'll let go of the thought of comfort and not being hot just as long as I could keep my legs covered. You know
Yes.
what? So that's stopping me
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
playing the sport too.
Yeah. So
Like,
I hope that, like, my message of embrace your features helps you to
thank you.
to like maybe make the first step this summer of wearing the shorts, because really, again, who made up the rule or the beauty standard, or the, that your legs had to look a certain size? Everybody's legs
Right.
come in different shapes and sizes,
And
and so somebody
right.
really messed up your thought process about what your legs should look like, right? And you know
That's what happened. And
yeah.
it's because I was wearing shorts before that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But then
See?
when I got that comment, I was like, "Oh, wow." Like, because you don't wanna hear that again. You don't wanna, like, bring attention to that
Right.
part of your body.
Right.
So I would cover it. But then you gotta say to yourself, but so over time, that happened, I guess I was like 14 or 15, but that stuck with me
Yeah, it does.
until
It's
now
a long time, yeah.
as an adult. So I never wear shorts.
So I challenge you, Stephanie.
Oh, no. Oh, no, because I have to take a
I
challenge.
challenge
Oh
you
my
to
oh,
try, to
Christina, come
try,
on.
to try. No, I would never be like, "Oh, you have to do it." Just to try, to really, no, seriously, to think about, like, what you just said right now, like, is really eye-opening for yourself, I'm sure. Like, wow, like, I let somebody's comment from when
Yeah,
I was 14, 15 years old stay with me my whole life, and I never had a problem with my legs, but now I have this problem because of that one comment.
yeah,
They're the ones that have the problem. You
because of
don't have the
somebody
your
else.
legs aren't the problem. Your legs are not the problem at all. So
Isn't
it's like pulling off a Band-Aid. For me, that's how I feel. Like, it's pulling off a Band-Aid. Like, when you do it once, you're like, "Oh, I did it and nobody said anything to me. Like,
yeah,
maybe I can do it again." Or,
yeah,
if somebody does, and I have a feeling somebody won't, but if somebody dares says anything about your legs, um, I know it would be upsetting, but maybe it would be more empowering even to be like, these are my legs. Like there's nothing.
Yeah.
What's the issue? These are my legs, and
Yeah. And why?
that's yeah. This is not about my legs anyway. This is about playing pickleball. This is about exercising. This is about moving my
Right.
body or doing something I like. Why are you even talking about my legs, right?
Right? Why do they care what my legs
Right.
look like? And that's what I should say, like even to myself, like why do I? But you know what it is? I never really thought about it. Like your book just brought out like
Yeah.
so many things since I heard you speak at the library.
Yeah.
Your book has just brought out so many things in my mind that I think about. And now that we're
Yes.
having this conversation, the thing about the shorts come up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't even realize I was so young. Like
Yeah.
I knew people, like that person said something, but I didn't realize until we had this conversation that I was
Yeah.
14. And I remember it was in front of my house. Me and my friend, we went like we were, you know what? This is a good point too. We were doing like an exercise regime, and we said
Yeah.
we're going to get up every day early, and we're going to take long walks. So we had shorts on,
Mhm.
and somebody commented to me because they were shocked, I guess, because I always wore pants. But to go on this long walk, I chose to wear shorts. But yeah, now that we're talking about it, from 14 years old, I don't remember who the person was, and I'm pretty sure it was a male,
Yeah.
another kid, but I just don't remember them, who they were. But that comment, and I wonder how they would feel knowing that they
Yeah.
said that to someone and it's stuck with them their entire life. Like, think, right? That's so
Right.
messed up. That
Yeah.
stopped me from wearing shorts my whole entire
Yeah.
life.
Yeah,
That
that's
stinks.
sad. That's definitely, and I have 1,000 stories that relate to that. And I'm sure anybody who listens to this is going to be like a light bulb's going to go off. And oh, wait, that happened to me too. And you saw when you posted the cover of my book, so many people have
Yes.
things where people have told them something, about what they look like. And it could have been somebody they trusted, like a doctor, like the pediatrician, a teacher, a family member, a friend.
Yeah.
And maybe they didn't know it was going to do damage to the person by thinking about it and remembering it their whole life, but it did. Words matter. Words have consequences, right? And so
They
here
do.
we
Yeah.
are now, all these years later, trying to heal from that. And that's what I'm trying to do in my book. Not only me heal, but help the youngest generation and the oldest generation, listen to these words and have those light bulb moments that you're having and be able to stop and reflect and be like, wait a minute, why do I want to be 60, 70, 80, 90 years old and still hung up about a certain part of my body and thinking that it's bad
Right.
or wrong or I got to fix it? I read it once to a senior living center. I was invited to a senior living center and I read the book and I even did the little affirmation mirror craft that I did, that I do with Girl Scouts with the seniors at this facility. And it was both so rewarding and heartwarming, but also sad because so many
Mm,
of them shared stories of things that they're insecure about that they're still holding on to at 80 and 90 years old. And then there
wow.
was some of them that were like, I don't even give a crap anymore. I'm
That's
free.
how I want to feel. I don't want to give a
Yeah,
crap anymore.
exactly. And so, you know, I I that's what I want. I want people not to burden themselves mentally and emotionally with trying to fix themselves for the rest of their life. Because when is it enough? Like I know
Yeah.
for me, it was never enough. No matter what I did, I still didn't feel good enough, well enough, appreciated enough, accepted enough for everybody else.
Yeah. Why do we let that bother us? Why do we let what other people say or what other people think? Like, why do we care? How
Right.
come we don't worry about, like, if we look in the mirror and say, hey, I feel like I look great today, and
Yes.
then we go out and then we get a dig
Yeah.
or what do they call it? A backhanded
Yeah.
compliment or a left-handed compliment, whatever they call it. And then we let that bother us. Like the great feeling we had when we left the house, we let just poof disappear when someone has something to say. But
Yeah.
who are they and why do they
Right.
matter? And
Right.
and where is that? Like you said before, that's self
Yeah.
protection. But we get so wounded that a good majority of the time, because there are some people that they don't let it bother them, and they do say, oh well, they got problems if they're talking about me. But the majority of people, even those people that do try to shrug it off, it still
Yeah.
bothers you.
Yeah,
Why do you
I
let
it
that
could be a
happen?
personality thing or also, you know what? Again, we're taught women, girls are taught from a very young age that it's
Yeah.
all about what we look like, right? Like I've heard something
Yeah.
recently, like when a child is looking at you put on makeup, don't tell them you're doing it to look pretty. Don't tell them that you're putting on makeup so you look pretty. Tell them you're just being trying to be fancy, because girls see from such a young age that women are always like their main purpose is to that we're supposed to be looked at and you know like wanted, like for the man's gaze, for
Right.
right, for a male's gaze. You're like, it's almost like it's a pretty and beautiful is what we have to strive for all the time,
Right, and not for us,
Yeah.
for somebody else.
Right.
Right, not for
Yeah.
ourselves. I'm sure a lot of us would like to just be in our pajamas all day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in
Yeah.
a sweatshirt
Yeah.
right now, pajama
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanna be comfortable,
Yeah. Of
you know?
course.
I wanna be
Yeah.
comfortable. But I think
Yeah.
it's great that you go out and you speak, right? You said you speak at
Yeah.
with Girl Scouts,
Yes. Yeah.
so you get them at a nice young age,
Yeah. I
right?
speak to anywhere from kindergarten to 6th grade I've spoken to.
And if
Um,
the parents are there too, that's really good for
yeah.
them to hear
There's
how
so
to.
many Yep, so many times I've heard the troop leaders too, like sharing their stories, like in between the girls making a little craft, the troop leaders and any parent volunteers are talking as well. It's
Yeah,
it's it's such a valid, much needed message this day and age. I mean, obviously from the past too, but this day and age, I'm sure you've seen kids, younger and younger girls, are like going to Sephora and trying to, like, there's this craze with them, getting their cream or their lotion for their skincare and, like trying to do these things, to change their, appearance as
appearance, yeah.
well.
Dye their hair, the
Yeah.
highlights,
Yeah.
which the friends get it. So how do you tell your daughter no? Like that makes it hard too, because
Yeah.
like if the friends are getting it, they're like, oh well, Maria has it.
Right.
Maria has highlights. Why can't
Right.
I get highlights?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
so rough. It is
Yeah.
the message that we send,
Yeah.
but that's also what they tell us, like on commercials,
Mhm.
right?
100%. Yep.
They're always pushing that, always pushing that. And I
Yeah.
love when they have, like, even on the feed, they have skincare and they're
Yes.
showing you how this works. But meanwhile, the person that's demonstrating it is like in her 20s,
Right.
maybe even in her 30s, and they're calling it age defying.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you put it on somebody that's
Yeah.
50, 60, and 70 and tell me
Yeah.
if it's going to work?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give
Yeah.
me an actual person,
Right.
not a fake person. And then plus they use those filters. You know how they use
Yeah,
the
the
filters to like
filters, yeah.
to blur everything. So yeah, they put the
And
60.
kids are on social media, unfortunately, younger and younger, and they know about TikTok and they see these, videos or ads in their streams and the trends or, that go on with,
Yeah,
sometimes there's some really, upsetting trends that young girls do. And so, yeah, social media, I believe, plays a very big part in it this day and age. But you still have all the regular things like the ads on the radio and the commercials on TV, and
yeah.
so it's that we can't escape it for sure. It's
We
everywhere.
can. It is everywhere. And you go to the senior homes and you speak to the seniors about it too. And
Yeah, I did
that's
that.
a
I did that once. I would love to do it again because that was very like heartwarming to be able. And they were like so into the message, and that made
yeah,
it just validated when for the reason that I made the book, because I always hesitate, like in the beginning when you asked me what's the age for, because I literally want it to be for everybody. Like
right.
I believe if adults read more children's books, they would get a lot of great messages that we need to like always, relearn and reread. And so
I believe that too.
yeah, I just wanted it to be the children's book that generations sat together and listened to and read and would be like, oh yeah, wow, I don't want to continue that, or I don't want to pass that on.
Right.
Um,
Children's books do have great messages
yeah,
about kindness and the things that really matter and what's
yeah,
important and stuff like that, which is really the things that we should be focusing on. And
yeah,
like our conversation led to, it just doesn't. And we
yeah,
always want to look better. And it's usually not for us, right? So, but yeah, I think that's great. And I think when you spoke to the senior group, a lot of them maybe let go of the
yeah,
things that have been bothering them. I mean, imagine dragging something around for, they're 80 and they're dragging it around for whenever it started, maybe,
I know.
for 75 years.
Yeah,
If at 5 years old, somebody said something to them, oh, your ears are big. So for
yeah.
75 years, they've been covering their ears with their hair. They
Oh, I
won't wear,
mean, I have a family member that won't wear the color yellow because she was called a big fat yellow banana, and she is
Wow.
77. So
So
it
still to this day.
really, yes, yeah, and that's what I just don't want for my own children, and I don't
Right.
want for myself, and if I could help anybody else, I always said if my book helps one person, I'll be happy. But I can, it's almost 3 years old, the book, and I can honestly say that I feel like it's helped way more than one person. And, if it didn't help them heal from anything, it at least help them look at things differently from a different perspective, and maybe start to try to embrace themselves, their features, or even
Right.
their children's features, so they don't have to pass that on. One of the pages, my favorite page in the book, is embracing your features can change the world. It teaches others that it's okay to be themselves too, just like you. You are enough, you are worthy exactly as you are. And that's what I want the book to be. Like, one person embraces their features, it shows somebody else, and they're like, "Oh, I could do that too. I can embrace my features. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea,"
Yeah.
and
Definitely.
constantly share the message.
And so now where is your book available?
So it's available online where most books are sold. So Amazon, barnesandnoble.com, bookshop.org, and it's in one local bookstore in Long Island, and yeah, and then it's on my website. I could always like ship one out to somebody.
Right, right. You could always ship it yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I think they make great presents. I think they're perfect for the Easter basket. Easter's
Yes.
coming up. It's
Yeah.
a perfect time, right?
Yeah.
To stick that.
Also, graduation season's coming up, and I did have a parent once buy it for their child who was going to college, to
Oh,
bring with her to
wow.
college, when she went into her dorms, to remember that she was enough and
That
worthy
she is
exactly as she was
enough.
there.
I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah,
That is a great book people can carry with them
yeah,
because it's a reminder,
yeah,
right? That we
yes,
are enough and we don't have to
yeah,
do all that crazy stuff to be
yeah,
something for somebody else and not
right,
even ourselves.
right, exactly.
It's such a waste of time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're open to speaking to groups because you like that, right?
Yes, I love that. As much as any chance I get to share my message, I want to take it. So I try to speak wherever there's a speaking engagement, available. But Girl Scouts right now is what I do the most of, and any like book event, like you saw me at the library, where they allow you to speak about your book, I'm all for that. Yeah,
That's great. Okay, great. Well, if I hear of anything or if anybody that's listening to this right now is interested, let Christina know because
yeah,
she's more than happy to do it. And I think and you know how I feel because I always say it, it's such an important message. It's so true. And as women, especially, will be so much time, money, effort, tears.
yeah.
I mean,
Tears, sure.
right? What is it about? And
Yeah,
even when the commenters on Instagram were sharing the things that bothered them throughout their lives. Like some of the things I read, knowing I have my own too, don't
yeah,
get
yeah,
me wrong,
yeah,
but some of the things I read, I was like, wow, I can't believe that. Like I felt bad. I was like,
yeah,
I can't believe they let that bother them.
yeah.
It's nothing, but to them, it's something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, of course, you know what I mean. It's just an
Yeah,
expression, but
yeah,
to them, it's such a big deal, and it's
yeah,
such a shame because there's so much going on in the world. And if my biggest problem in life is gonna be my large thighs,
yeah,
so be it. I'll
yeah,
deal you know what I mean? Like, a million other things could be,
yeah,
thank God I got a roof over my head, and
right.
thank God I'm able
Exactly.
to have this conversation
Yes.
with you right now.
Yeah.
So if my biggest problem is gonna be my thighs, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I am gonna try to wear shorts this summer.
Yeah. I can't wait.
I'm
I
gonna
really
go
can. I'll be there cheering you on. I want an update, and I will be cheering you on because it
believe
is
me,
a
it's
big
a big
deal.
deal.
Oh, 100%.
But
It's a big
your
deal.
book has really made an impact on me,
Aw,
and
thank you.
it's such a great message, and everybody really should just feel good about themselves, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's really all it's about. We gotta feel good for us and not for other people.
Yes.
And it was such a pleasure talking to you,
Yeah, thank you so much.
and I love your book.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, and it's available on Amazon. Oh yeah, let's see the cover. Embrace your features.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great book, so I highly recommend it. And
Thanks.
I'm so glad that we got to speak because we see each other in
Yeah.
passing or in events,
Yeah.
and we never get to talk because we're so
No.
busy.
Yeah.
But today, I was really looking forward to this conversation, and
Aw.
you've shared so much great stuff.
Thank you.
And, it's good to hear this because I'm going to go on about my day today
Yeah.
feeling good
Yes.
about what we talked about
Yeah.
because, it's empowering.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's my hope. Yeah.
we need someone like you to tell us it's okay to be you.
Yeah. Thank
It's
you.
okay not to dye your hair. It's okay not to, when the new year comes, to hit the gym and try to
Yeah.
lose weight. Because guess what? In the end, it doesn't, none of that matters anyway, right?
Yes.
That's, depending
Yeah.
on what we believe in, that's not what we're judged for. In the
Right.
end, it's what we've done.
100%.
Good
How we
things.
make other people feel, how we treat other people.
Yes, yes, so true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm so glad
Thank
we got to
you.
speak.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you. It was
Yeah.
a very nice conversation
Yeah.
and enlightening.
Yes.
And all right, great. Well, I
All
look
right.
forward to seeing you.
Thank
And
you.
everyone, thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.